Wow, it really does take a second. All right, welcome everyone to the Gamer Breakfast podcast. My name is SkojSkull, and I got with me my co-host. There we go, Jalbagel, and with our guest today, Tuner.
Hello.
Yeah, and so we're trying out something different, something a little fun, since Tuner.
We're visiting Tuner's podcast.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
We wanted to try something different, mostly because Tuner uses his Animal Crossing avatar a lot on his stream, and we discussed them like, what if we actually like green screened ourselves into his studio? So we're visiting his world.
It's working well so far.
Yeah.
It only took 38 minutes to set up, but we did it.
Yeah, look what we can do. Skoy, give me a high five.
Yeah. Oh Jesus! For those audio listeners, we attempted a high five,
and it did not work well.
No. But yeah. So Tuner, tell us a little about yourself and like what you do on your live streams.
So I am a Monster Hunter and action video game kind of streamer. I've done a lot of Genshin Impact, Monster Hunter, Dark Souls, Souls-like, Soulsburn kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just kind of I do my own thing on stream, and then occasionally I'll help Jinx edit down a video, who's my partner on YouTube, and Jinx and Tuner is our YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really do that so much anymore, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got you. I mean, there's been a lot of a thing that we'd like to talk about here is also about mental health.
Ooh.
And I do understand that Jinx went through a lot, and he had to like take a step away from doing social media stuff, which is completely understandable, especially with having work in the house is really stressful. But,
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, you guys met. I interviewed before as well, but to kind of
God, that'd have been like 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, bring me up to speed.
Yeah. So, how did you and Jinx meet, and how did it lead up into the Mathalos channel and into the Discord and to what you guys created so far?
Do you want the long story or the short story?
I mean, we've got like 2 hours. A long story's fine too.
Okay. So it all started back when I was a boy. You see, when I was a child. No.
When I was a wee old chap.
Back in 1773, I think it was.
YouTube was invented.
No, back in my day, YouTube had a star system, and you could rate a video out of 5 stars. You see, it was back in the ye old days of 2007.
That did used to be a thing, though.
Yeah, dude, it used to be. Anyway,
my introduction to the internet.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so it was a few years ago, and 3.5 years ago, if we go all the way back, my friend from work was trying to get me to play Monster Hunter for you, I think, on the 3DS. And he told me how good of a game it was and how it was really hard and really, really difficult, and it took like 30 minutes to hunt a monster, and you know there was no health bars and all this stuff, and I'm like, that sounds like a terrible game. And then G Generations came out, and he's like, yeah, it's the same exact game that I was telling you about before, but now there's like 5 times more monsters. And I'm like, yeah, that still sounds like a terrible game. And then then Monster Hunter World was coming out, and he's like, yeah, it's the first time it's been on console for like years, and they have a tutorial, and the graphics are really good, and it's on PlayStation 4, and we should totally play it together. And I'm like, you know what? All right, fine, I'll play it. And I picked it up in March of, I think probably 2018. And I immediately dropped it to play God of War. And I came back to it at one point because I felt like I should play it, and I was like, this is a very different game. And so I looked up some guides on the internet, and I went to the Eric's videos.
As one does.
Yeah, as one does. And from there, I had found the Discord, and I was like, oh, hey, what's Discord? And they're like, yeah, it's basically Ventrilo, but better. And I'm like, oh, cool, I like Ventrilo. That tells you how old I am, that I used Ventrilo.
Is it sad to say I've never heard of Ventrilo?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Daily podcast reminder, Skoy is a child.
I'm 23. Oh my goodness.
So anyways, I hop into Discord, and I had seen, I didn't even know what the hell I was doing, because if you've ever been Eric's Discord, it's huge.
Oh my gosh.
Massive. And I was like looking around, and one of the moderators was streaming, so I clicked on there and watched them stream. So, by the way, if you put your moderators at the top, people do see them, so that's a good note. But and they were streaming Kolv Taroth, and that was a fight I was having some trouble with, and they were like, oh yeah, if you want to do Kolv Taroth, you need to do it in one phase. And if you want to learn about one phase, you need to go to this Discord. So I went over from one Discord to another. And in that Discord was a bunch of like hardcore gamers, the real juicy types. And they were over there like speedrunning Kolv Taroth in like 10 minutes and stuff. And can I swear?
Yeah, oh yeah. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay. So anyways, they were over there speedrunning and shit.
Yeah, there it is.
And so I was learning how to do that, and then along comes Jinx, and he's like, hey guys, I'm tired of getting asked the same 5 questions and answering them every day on Reddit. So I made a video covering on how to do this thing. Can you guys take a look at this so I don't have to answer their questions every day? And everyone was like, oh yeah, that's really good. Oh, good video. And I'm like, your sound audio is shit. You ramble. Your quality is bad. And you should feel bad. And he was like, oh really? What would you change? I'm like, well, you could first of all give yeah, no, it was like, well, you could start by introducing yourself and explaining why anyone should listen to you. You could get your audio better because it sounds like you're talking out of a trash can, and you could maybe ramble a little less. You could edit down your script. Write a script. And so he's like, okay, well, what would you change? I'm like, okay. So he hands me a script, and I go over some things and whatever. And the big problem was that he had this stand-in for the audience that he called Timmy. And if you've ever seen an original Jinx video from like before I joined, it was just like, but Jinx, if I want to do this, how do I do that? And it was so bad. It was so demeaning to the audience. It was borderline like ableist, because it was clearly intending on being like a stand-in for somebody who, it was clear what it was. And I'm like, you got to get rid of this. He's like, well, I'm just bouncing off the ideas, so it makes sense. Like, it's like the audience asking questions. Like, okay, well, if you need somebody asking questions, I'll ask questions. And so basically, that's what I did. Is I started.
That's like a good like approach to that though. Is like get rid of this like incredibly problematic tool that you're trying to use as a storytelling element, and instead let me just be that.
Yeah, basically just have another person doing it. And so I did that,
Yeah.
and I helped them edit down the scripts. I helped them make them readable because I've spent most of my life around the radio business. My mom was in radio since she was 13, and I spent most of my mornings in a morning show office.
Wow.
That's actually
studio.
really cool. That's like that. That's different. That's neat. That's awesome.
I never knew that actually.
Yeah, thank you. And so I basically helped him edit down the scripts. I talked for him in those parts that he wanted a partner to talk to. And we ended up finding out the reason why he sounded like shit. He had a Yeti snowball. And I was like, oh, well, Yeti snowballs are crap. That must just be how Yeti snowballs sound. We found out that he was actually using his microphone on his laptop because he forgot to swap the input to the snowball.
I've done that before too. I've recorded footage before, and I just thought that was how bad my mic sounded. And then I looked at it, I was like, no, that's my laptop.
Yes,
That is so funny.
They sound so bad.
Yeah, so
That's actually hilarious.
And then basically, I was just the assistant and just filling in for that spot. And then at a certain point, like I was giving him ideas for stuff, and he had valued me enough as a person and as a partner that he made me like the official partner of the channel. We were 50-50. Like I own that channel just as much as he owns it. If I want to go in there and delete it, I can. Don't test me. I'll do it. But yeah, no, that's and then it's kind of how we met. It's the long and short.
I mean, that's like a really cool like paradigm though, that like, and this is the thing about like criticism in media too, and like on YouTube and stuff, is like people want that criticism, right? Like we don't just want like mindless praise, we want to get better,
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So like, I mean, that's like really cool that like that dialogue started with you like more or less saying like fighting that status quo and like fighting the tide and being like, what are y'all talking about? This is kind of shit.
Well, yeah, he had actually said like the reason why I valued you so much is because you were the only one willing to call me out and say that my product wasn't as good as it could be. And he said that from a business standpoint, he values having that on his team because that's how you get better.
Like,
you don't need yes men. You need people who are gonna tell you the truth.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And the fact that you'd even take the time out of your day to like help him out with that I also would probably mean a lot to him as well.
Yeah.
Imagine if I didn't watch the video. where would we be?
There's just no telling, but imagine the absolute troll. LMAO, this is shit. Oh, what would you change? Now's my chance. Get rid of the dragon in the background. The squirrel talking in the corner is like idiotic. So what video are you watching?
Oh my gosh.
I will say this though, like one of the first things that you said there, which was like introduce yourself, like why are you making this video, what qualifies you to make this video, is actually like a really good point to make. Because like I'm in the middle of writing and scripting and recording one of like the big first videos that I want to make, right? Like I found a topic that interests me, so I'm pursuing that. But one of the things is you kind of like get into that mentality of like, well, why am I allowed to do this, right? Like what qualifies me to do this, I think it's like a really important thing when you watch a video. Like half the time people don't introduce who they are, right? Like they don't say their shtick. They don't remind you why you watch them,
Yeah. And it was easy for Jinx because he had a world record on Cove Taroth, and that's if you go back and watch that video, he starts as like, hey, I'm Jinx, and this is how you speedrun Cove. I am qualified because I had a world record on Cove Taroth for like 5 minutes until it was like 5 hours, but mostly that was probably because of like time zone differences. But a Japanese team like came by and smoked them by like 20 seconds or something.
Hey, but then when it comes to speedrunning too, I'll just throw this in there. When it comes to speedrunning too, just because your run isn't the fastest run doesn't make it any less impressive sometimes.
Oh no.
Like there are
God.
like some approaches, like some of the first approaches to speedrunning can like be so creative and so like out of the box. They can also be slower, but they're sometimes a lot more interesting to see than like, you know, speedruns that we see now, which is 4 people grab 4-buster and hold right trigger.
Well, I mean, and I've actually, because you know, I worked with a lot of speedrunners, just you know, because of who we were and who we talked to, and I had a couple people, you know, they lamented to me. They're like, "Oh man, I just can't like get a better run. I feel like I'm a phony." They had like major imposter syndrome, and I'm like, dude, look,
Gee, I wonder what that's like.
I'm like, gee, dude, if you know, Rainy, there's this famous example of Rainy, who is a Charge Blade speedrunner in World. He got the world record on Teostra like before Draken even came out, and nobody could beat it because the Teostra basically went into a double flame breath into a double tail whip and stood still for 2 minutes while he just did, you know, charge blade stuff. Yeah,
great
spam.
RNG.
And he didn't
Literally 4 SAD spammable moments from an old World against Teostra. The creature just doesn't move now.
Yeah, it just insta died, and nobody else got that RNG. It didn't matter if you were good enough; they just didn't have a run like that. Yeah.
Oh,
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, base game. Oh, that's why I love Base World IL speedruns so much, because a lot of it was dependent on that, like taking advantage of the situation rather than like what it is now, which is literally just chaining claggers, staggers, and knockdowns together until the monster is dead. Literally, we even have like real-time RTA, the 0% speedrun, down to a point where it's just like lock the monster fully, and that's the speedrun.
Yeah.
Base World was wild.
Yeah, I liked Base World. I know a lot of people.
Good experience.
A lot of people come in and they're like, "Oh, well, Iceborne's not that bad," and I'm like, "Meh."
Did you play Base World?
Yeah, I played Base World. It wasn't bad at all. I was like, "Oh."
In terms of like how much to do in endgame, I guess I really do enjoy that for Iceborne for me personally. Like when I got into World, I did drop off World pretty soon after I got into it as well, and then I got back into it like sometime after Ancient Lesson or something. And I was just like, you know, the game's not bad.
And here we are.
Yes.
Fighting the same 4 monsters over and over again.
Yeah.
That's what I do, at least. So I don't do open session anymore.
Oh, you hunt all the monsters every stream now.
Oh yeah, I mean 0% is whatever.
But yeah, so from there leading into because you went from World, and then you've made a lot of meta builds from that, and not meta builds, but like I guess would you consider them like meta comfy builds or?
Well, the thing about it is it was essentially most damage per hit builds. And they differed from speedrunner builds, and this actually got us in a lot of trouble. Jal, if you're a speedrunner, so you probably know the difference between speedrunning builds and normal just damage focused builds is that certain speedruns will want certain abilities, passives. I can't remember the term for it right now. But passives on there, like
sounds right.
Like wind pressure 3 when you're fighting Lunastra or something.
Oh,
not because it's easier, but because there's certain animations that you can abuse because you have wind pressure 3. You can take an opening for an SAED, or you can take an opening for like a discharge or something. You know, whatever. You can take these openings that you couldn't normally, and that gets you a faster run specifically for Lunastra, or specifically for target monster. You might have Tremor Resist 2 for X monster, or you know, might have something else for something else. And our builds were specifically like, okay, you hit this monster with this weapon, this is the theoretical highest damage you're going to deal. And what I think also people say like that there's their damage focus means they're not new player friendly, or they're more like speed running builds. But also people forget that when you break apart, the monster falls over, and when you break apart, the hunt is over faster. It's like, I don't know about you guys, but like I can't focus on something for 15 minutes straight. If the fight is over within 5 minutes, then I'm more in my element and I'm not like zoned out. And if anything, it was more for a casual setup for me, because it made it easier because I didn't have to pay attention as long.
Yeah.
But there's the whole speedrunning aspect of it is about DPS, damage per second, not single hit being as strong as possible, right? So like if you could create a new opening, that means you hold a higher DPS over time, rather than like an attack goes off and like now you can't move. It's like the same thing with like monsters that have tremors. We've used like the tremor resist in builds before in like low threat monsters, like let's say like a Pookie Pookie or Tobikadachi. In those speedruns, you run earplugs because you only need 2 levels to stop its roar.
Right,
like,
exactly.
That's free, so like with those kinds of things, like you create brand new openings to these things. But a common one is especially in end game Elder Dragon speedruns with Switch Axe, is just running 1 level of earplugs, because ZSD gives you 4 levels of earplugs.
Oh, wow.
Right, exactly.
If you run 1 level while you ZSD, you're immune to a roar. I do that in Shar percent speedruns even, and it's amazing, because that's an entire damage window that you didn't have before that is free.
Right. Yeah. And so
Super
ours were
comfy.
more of
What
a
the fuck?
general damage setup, not necessarily speedrun.
Yeah, exactly.
Setups. And this had actually got us in trouble with a couple of speedrunners who would go in and people would say, well, so-and-so from so-and-so would use this set. And so this set is obviously better than your set. Why are you calling your sets damage if they're using this? Well, then you have to sit there and explain exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
Well, they ran 1 level of earplugs because you have earplugs 5 on a ZSD, or they ran tremor resist 2 because they wouldn't get flinched out of this move, which let them do a free SAD. And
yeah, it's the same reason we like drop a level of attack boost to run brace in 4-player speedruns. I don't want to sit here and be tripped the entire time, because if I'm being tripped, I'm losing damage. So I have to run that level of brace just so I can keep playing the game. And then that level of brace becomes a DPS skill.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
It's fun. Speedrunning's great. You guys should try it.
I'm just happy that I can kill the monster. For me, it's just like I go into a run. It's just like I always tell people this, where it's just like, if you go on a run with me, I can promise you we can get it done. I won't tell you when.
Yeah, exactly. It won't be fast. That's like, even in base world, like I had sets, like I had against every arc tempered monster in base world, I had like a set to counter that. And so like I was running Kushala set bonus on my anti-AT Lunastra set, because I just didn't want to deal with the knockback from the wind pressures. And then I was running like full fire defense and health boost and health augment and all of this nonsense. I was like, because I just don't want to deal with having to fight a Lunastra. I want it just to more or less feel like a Teostra the entire time.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But I always find that stuff interesting though, like the how do we eke out the most damage, how do we get the highest numbers, like what can we take advantage of.
That's why I always love the Monster Hunter as well. It's just like there's always like one way to tweak your hunt, to tweak your the way your character moves or anything in the game, which is like you don't really see that in video games really. Like you see it in Soulsborne. You can tweak like your health or your stamina and like how much you resist something. I'm not sure the logistics of it, but like you can tweak your character to a point where you can change the way the game feels, and I think that's really cool. Like there's not many games that do that well.
Well, another thing, just one of the original video concepts that we had, where hey, this is what attack boost does. Hey, this is what affinity does. This is how affinity works with attack boost. This is why attack boost is a trap. That was one of our first big videos.
Trap.
Yeah.
I actually remember watching that when I was playing World.
Yeah.
Like before I started streaming, like before everything. I remember watching that because I wanted to like understand how to play the end of the game just like a little bit better. Because like meta builds has never really made any sense to me. I'm like, attack boost is free, but everything keeps saying crit. Like this doesn't make any sense.
Right. Right.
I find that stuff interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like that was what we did originally, but then you'd have people who come in, it's like, I don't care how it works, just give me the sets. Just give me the sets.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, what's the best long blade or long sword set? And you're like, dude, I'm trying to teach you how to fish, not just give you the fish. Like,
Yeah.
But they were popular, and that's what people wanted, so we made them.
Have you ever seen the analytics on speedrun videos, like really popular IL level speedruns, where like you can see like where people are viewing the most?
Oh,
really?
Is it just like the very end?
It's just the
at
end.
Time? Yeah.
It's literally just the end. So I always joke, if I ever do IL speedrunning, I'm gonna put the set in the middle of the run and not at the end.
Yeah.
So when they go to the end and like look for the set, be like, wait, where is it? It's like, gotta go back and find it.
You gotta go watch the video.
Yeah,
I set it for like one frame in the video.
You'll have one guy who's just like, all right, it's at 273, saved you a click.
Yeah.
That's when you remove those
that's
comments.
why I won't do it.
I'm kidding.
But I love seeing those because like like in the SRC Discord, like every now and then someone will post one and they'll be like, oh yeah, 200 views and 199 of them were at the end of the run.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's what people want. That's why I always say that too about Monster Hunters. Like speedrunning is such like a niche thing because we get how do I want to put it? Attention seekers, fame chasers that come into the leaderboard every now and then where they post up a time to like everything, and it's like not like what you would think of as like an actual speedrun, like Fatalis or like an Elder Dragon or something like that, but it's like the gathering quests and like the small monster quests and the egg gathering quests, and like I think they're fun because you get to see like cool like movement strategies and stuff like that. There's actually a lot of like really neat movement abuse in world that you can take advantage of, especially when you have the Assassin's Creed mantle and stuff like that. It gets really neat. Like Assassin's Creed mantle and Lance Dash is just like moving twice as fast for the entire hunt. It's really neat.
So you're more zoomy than you are zoomy.
Oh yeah, it's really cool. But it's always really funny because like I had someone message me, they're like, well, how did you get so popular? I was like, I streamed regularly and stuff like that. They're like, yeah, but like you having like a world record at one point, like that helped, right? And I'm like, no, nobody cares about that.
Probably like, I don't know, the thought of like speedrun the entire game, not many people did that for Monster Hunter World. And then the fact that you kind of like, it's engaging. It's really fun to watch too, because you can see like when you get to the end, everyone gets hyped. It's like, oh, did you beat your time from previously? There's always a goal like every stream.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
It's how you sell your thing, right? And like there's plenty of people that are successful. I mean, like Tuner, like you said, Rainy is very successful in speedrunning. I mean, we have countless people that have been successful with speed running, in some capacity, whether it be on Twitch or on YouTube or on like Bilibili or whatever, in the Japanese communities. But it's just how you sell that content. Just doing it isn't enough.
Well, I mean, I've told everybody, because anytime I'm like at a family, I don't know if you guys are the same, but when I'm at a family gathering, they're like, oh yeah, you're still doing that streaming thing? So little Timmy likes video games, maybe he could do it too. And I'm like, all right, look, first of all,
it's not shit.
First of all, let's just get real for a second. It's not about just playing video games. It's like 90% of it is entertainment.
It is.
Yeah.
And then like the other 10% of it is playing video games. And I know plenty of people who are like really good at games. They're like really good, they're consistent, and they pull in like 3 people who watch them.
Yeah.
And then you have people who are like bad at games, like
Just say it. I'm kidding.
Like-
Oh my god.
like Skoy.
Oh my god.
But they still are really entertaining, and they put it down, and it's great. And I'm kidding, Skoy, you're not bad.
And even if you are bad at it, you're at least entertaining when you do it.
Yeah.
I carton
And
style.
and it's also just about tolerating the pressure of having people around you, and the anxiety of screwing up, and how to handle that anxiety, because if you're a funny guy, then all of a sudden the game gets hard and you just turn into a nasty bastard who's like, oh, you guys are making fun of me, I'd like to see you do this shit. Like, no, nobody wants to see
Fuck,
that.
my camera's reversed. I was trying to point the Jal. Oh my gosh, I can't. But yes.
But yeah, no, it's about how you handle. It's so many things. It really is so many
So
things.
many things. So many
And
layers.
It's
There's
like
a lot.
it's like Shrek.
It's like an
Ogres have
it's like
layers.
a Shrek.
It's like a Shrek because ogres have layers.
Oh my gosh. But-
My advice to any aspiring content creators out there is, one, be prepared to sit in an empty room by yourself for months at a time before anybody ever even says hi.
I
And
did it for a year and a half.
and then be prepared for them to say hi and then not say anything back, and because they're gone.
Oh.
The problem with streaming is like, if you're in there and you think you're by yourself, you're gonna want to just basically sit there and do nothing. You're gonna just want to slump back in your chair and be all gamer mode and not say anything and not pay attention. But if I watch your stream and I click on it and like nothing's happening for the first 15 seconds I'm in there, I'm just gonna leave, right? And so you have to be constantly engaged, constantly active, constantly making jokes, talking to yourself because no one's talking to you, and just hope that somebody comes in, digs your vibes, and like stays there for a minute.
Yeah,
And
it helps a lot, honestly. I could definitely prove that it works. It really does.
There's
And-
always a concept of the offline audience that I try to like explain to people, because like even when I was like only getting like 3 or 4 viewers a stream, I was still getting like 10 to 20 views on my VODs. I was like really surprised about that. And there's always this idea that your stream video should also hold its own water, right? In some capacity. So like, even if it's not being carried by a conversation in chat, it at least should be carried by your conversation with the offline audience, with the people that are going to watch when you aren't actually live.
yeah, I agree with that.
It's hard. It's the hardest thing to do.
Okay,
It's so
conversation with
difficult.
yourself. It's really hard.
I talk to myself all day long, like as it is. I can talk to myself about nothing forever. And for some reason, when I'm on stream, it is so much harder to be like, okay, what do I want to talk about? Like it's just impossible. It's like, all right, I already did it. I talked about my day, I talked about my cat, and I talked about what I ate today. Shit, there's still 3
It's only
hours
been
left of
5
stream.
minutes.
Well, that was the first 10 minutes down. What are you gonna do for the? Well, and
I'll
then
play a video game quickly.
I remember I was on Twitter, and it was trending on the news. It was like, oh, I'm a streamer and I have anxiety. It was some kind of like Washington Post or it was, I don't know, it was some article. And I was like, oh god, here we go. And I'm like, I'm like, oh, let me check the comments real quick, which was always it's always the worst thing you can do. You never check the comments. But as people's like, oh, kids these days, oh, if they had worked at like a real job where they had to stand on their feet and blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, dude. And you'd see people respond as like, oh, streaming is hard, because of this reason and that reason. And and hey, they're like being really polite and trying to explain to him all the reasons. Like, and then the guys are like, you don't know anything. I have a job. It's this, that, and this, and that. And I don't know if you saw that or something, but I like actually quote retweeted the guy, and I'm like, yeah, I used to work at FedEx Ground, a warehouse, where I was a worker, trainer, and manager, and worked there for almost a decade. And all I did all day was lift, 25 to 100 pound, 150 pound was the max weight limit. And I'd lift those all by myself and stand on my feet for 8 hours a day in a hot environment with no heat in the summer, no heat in the winter, no cooling in the summer. And I would rather fucking go back to that than keep streaming sometimes. This is a grueling, mentally abusive job where like you're constantly evaluating yourself and always finding yourself lacking, and your value is based on how many people watch you or how many people give you money in a single day. And it's terrible, and it makes you feel so bad about yourself all the time. And I mean, you stream 8 hours or more and you come out of it with like 2 subs and like a handful of bits, and you're just like, dude, people don't even like me. And at least when I was at FedEx, I could build a wall of boxes, look at that wall of boxes and go, I did a fucking good job building that wall of boxes, baby. Skoj, you work at UPS, right?
I used to work at Amazon for a bit, but then after the peak season, since it literally tore me away from like all the other things I really wanted to like build up and grow, I was just like, yeah, no, because it was like the mandatory extra time stuff.
Yeah, during peak and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, Skoj, I'd rather go back to FedEx at peak than stream some days. Like, really, I'm not even kidding. It's like. I'd rather be physically tired than emotionally exhausted.
I can understand that at some points for sure. Like this can be, I've been at certain points where like there was actually like a certain period of time where I didn't upload for like 4 months on YouTube when I started going in, like attempting to go into it full time. And I didn't upload for 4 months when I started. I was like, this is not good. What am I doing?
Yeah.
But it was because it was just like, I need to figure out what to do. What do I do? And I didn't really have that planned aside from figuring out what to stream. And that was it. So it like really tore me apart. But then now I'm starting to figure it out. But yeah.
It definitely makes it a lot easier when you don't have to worry about it for income. Like I will say that.
Oh.
Give you a little back rub, Skoj.
But it's like, it's insane how much pressure you end up putting on yourself the moment that this becomes like a job, right? That's like the one thing that I'm terrified about, because like every now and then I think, I'm like, yeah, I could do this every day, and then I realize like, oh, this week I had like literally a third of the viewership and made a fifth of the money. Okay, maybe I couldn't do this every day.
Yeah,
I don't. That's not gonna work, because at least like when I know, like when I go to work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, I'm leaving with a paycheck, right? I do this 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, and I could get jack diddly.
Yeah, I've been doing this as a full-time career. Like this has been my sole job for the past 3 1/4, so a little over 3 years. We'll just say 3 years.
That's awesome.
And man. I'm thankful for the good weeks because they carried me through the bad ones.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, and, leading up to that, you started going full time with Monster Hunter, right?
Right. Yeah. I started the channel with Jinx, I think in like September or October of 2018, and I quit my job in December of that same year. And I've been full-time content creator since then. So.
And then leading from that, you led into Genshin Impact. Then Jinx started getting into Genshin Impact, and then started introducing it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I was trying to be nice. So yeah, so basically, I mean, when it was like the tail end of Iceborne and we'd all fought the same 5 monsters 100,000 times, and you know, there's this thing when you're a content creator, especially one that does one specific game for a long time, and you're like, well, do people like me for me, or do they like me because I stream Monster Hunter? And so I'd play other games and the viewership would be down, and of course it make you feel bad because viewership is down. And so then you'd go back to Monster Hunter, and then you'd be like, well, I guess I'm just going to play the same 3 monsters again. And it was just really bad. And I think it was like that summer when we were trying to figure out what the hell we were going to do, just in general. And Jinx had done the Genshin Impact. I don't remember why he got into it, but I was like, okay, it's a waifu game. I'd done Azure Lane on my phone for a little while. It was okay. I mean, I don't know. I didn't play for very long. And I was like, any characters in there that like what are the characters? And I went and looked up their voices, and there was one that I really liked. The character Jean is voiced by Saito Chiwa, who does the voice of Homura in Madoka Magica and Senju Kahara in Monogatari.
Oh.
And I like her. I like her. So I was like, okay, well, I'll play this one and I'll try to get this character. And he's like, yeah, that's a 5-star character. It's really rare. Have fun. And they ended up getting. We have a friend who was re-rolling accounts because it was really easy at that point before they added like email verification. And he had like hundreds of accounts. He got it down to like 30 minutes to get an account from brand new started to like the free 20 polls or free 30 polls that they give you. And so
literally speed running account creation.
Right. Actually speed running account creation. And
let's go.
Yeah, he wanted to get I think he wanted to get Venti and Diluc. So he was like literally re-rolling these accounts until he got a double 5-star on his free polls for Venti and Diluc. And so he had this Excel sheets full of like accounts, and I think they were gonna give me one that had like Jean and I don't remember, maybe it was like Jean and Venti or something. Anyways, they were gonna give me an account, and I was like, oh well, I guess if I'm gonna do this, I might as well start it from scratch and at least stream the game. And I did, and in my first account that I ever had, my first 10 poll that I had in the game, I got a double Klee. And that reaction is somewhere in a YouTube video, but Jinx is just screaming his face off. And I'm just like, is it good? He's like, oh my God. And then like immediately afterwards, I pulled Kaching and an Aquila Favonia, which is like her best weapon and one of the more interesting characters in the game. So I had like 4 or 5 stars in my first like 50 polls, which is just
That's how they get you.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so I was stuck with that account, even though in hindsight, I think I would have rather had the Jean instead of the Klees, because I don't like playing Klee. But either way.
Shit.
She's cute, Skoy, but that's all she is. She's a pain in the ass to play.
But it's explosions and boom booms out all fucking.
She's slow, Skoy. She's slow. She's complicated needlessly. And I have 100 ping playing this game for some reason, even though I've got crazy good internet. So it sucks. Don't punch me. Break my heart. But
oh man.
Yeah, I got into it and just did that stuff, and basically with that, whereas in Monster Hunter I would help with the videos and stuff. What we did for Genshin was more like he would make the videos and then I would teach the concepts live on the stream, because I had a way of explaining them a little bit better than he does.
Oh.
We would we would always joke that Jinx is Fischl and I'm Oz. Whereas like if you've ever played Genshin, that would make sense to you. But basically, the character Fischl speaks in like half German and really long sentences that have way too much. It's very verbose, and then Oz is just like, "Yeah, she said hi." Yeah, that's basically what it was.
Oh my goodness. But with that, I feel like you guys worked really well together in that point, because you became more because I think he mentioned it himself as well, that you became more of like a community manager and kind of like manage the community, kind of help build together with him, and just kind of like help people out on the live stream, like for more direct answers and everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had been doing the community management stuff. I mean, I'm not saying I was good at it or anything. I had my fair share of hiccups, but
Goes with everyone.
I was basically always managing the community because he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to sift through the comments. He just wanted to upload the thing and then be done with it. But I would go through the comments and respond to comments and keep track of what the audience was wanting. And I ran the Patreon and I ran the Discord and the Twitter and all that other stuff. And there was a while I felt like Butters from that episode of South Park, where Butters was filtering through everybody's social media and deleting all the bad stuff and just leaving the good stuff. If you've ever seen it.
Oh my goodness, I have not seen that, but there is like, there are jobs for that as well, which is crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, no, just managing the social media and stuff.
How have you liked discovering, your guys' niche in Genshin? Because, like, I mean, from what it sounds like, you're kind of on the fence about the game in the first place. And I mean, the past couple of weeks, I've been catching your streams, and I mean, you've been playing Genshin.
Well, it kind of goes back to that thing where you're done playing Monster Hunter because you've pretty much beat Monster Hunter, but then you realize that that's all people want to see you play, and you have a paycheck to make. So you go back and play it. And I mean, another part about it is just there was always like some community drama. People don't like it when you have a quote unquote right way of playing, even though we've never told people you have to play this way. In fact, it's always been the opposite.
Yeah.
And they don't like hearing, hey, well, so and so says this, and so you'd get people who get really mad at you and they accuse you of being elitist and stuff, even though you're just like, yeah, no, this is just a statistical fact. Like, this is what, if you add this and this and this together, this equals this. There's really no way around it.
You're telling me I'm bad at the game? Is that what you're saying?
No one's telling you you're
bad. Guy? He told me I'm bad at the game.
No,
I can't believe
no. But yeah, basically that. And the same thing happened in Monster Hunter, the same thing happened in Genshin Impact. It's just
it happens everywhere.
And sometimes people with these huge communities are just like, oh yeah, those guys are idiots. They don't know what they're talking about. Fuck them. And that happened in Genshin Impact by like two or three people, where they were just like, yeah, no, don't listen to Jinx and Tuner. That Tuner guy's an idiot. Don't listen to him. I see my character. The fact of the matter is there was objectively worse characters than other characters for the same purpose. And we were just like, yeah, you don't need to use this character. This character isn't good. It was Zhang Li when he came out. He was just bad. He had a huge animation commitment that had low damage, so using it was a DPS downgrade. And his shield, he was like a shield character, and his shield was so bad that like you basically had to dodge the entire time, otherwise the shield would break, negating the purpose of the shield.
Yeah.
If you wanted to build him for damage, or if you built him for pure health, it was like, okay, well, you have a middling grade shield, but now he does absolutely nothing for your team's DPS. Yeah. And the Abyss, which was the content that we exclusively focused on, was basically a timer-based system that you were running through a challenge. And the faster you beat it, the better rewards you got.
Ergo speedrunning.
Yeah, like, so basically damage is key. And we were basically like, yeah, no, this character's bad unless you have like all of his cons, which mind you can cost upwards of 2,000 real dollars. He's just not that good. And some people were like, oh yeah, but look, I have the C6, the full con Zhongli, and wow, look at this with my other C6 character. So, you know, we're talking like $4,000 minimum with, you know, my R5 weapon. So, you know, there's not even pity for that one. That could, you know, that could be $10,000. We're talking just fat stacks of money. Well, see, look, it's good. And then people would look at that streamer or that content creator, be like, whoa, look, their character's good. You guys are stupid. You say he's bad, but look what they do with those characters. Like, yeah, but they spent like $20,000 on their account.
So go ahead and spend $20,000 on your account and then try to use it. And when you realize you made the mistake, you'll come back to us.
Exactly. Like, our content was exclusively focused on a free to play / low to play, like people who were willing to spend like $5 a month on the daily primogens or like $10 a month on the battle pass. And then they wanted to try to beat the end game content, which was the Abyss. That was exclusively our niche. And people were taking it and being like, okay, well, this applies to you. Like, well, no, it didn't apply to you. You know, this was our niche and you're being insulted. It's like it's seriously like helping out at the food bank or like giving money to charity and being like, well, why aren't you giving me money? Like, well, because it's not for you. Like,
it's
so
very
like that's always like the challenge with YouTube content is because like you could literally lay out your point, put it in front of everyone's face, explicitly say it over and over and over again, reiterate it constantly, and like close with that same point, and people will still miss it. Like entirely,
absolutely miss it
because they keep skipping to the end to find the sets, dude.
Every time.
But I feel like people also take it like very personally as well. Like when something is not like, oh, that's my favorite character. How dare you say that about my favorite character? And then it's just like, it doesn't make sense, that argument, because you're not saying that don't use this character. You're just saying this is why
for this purpose it's bad. Yeah,
for this purpose, this is why it's bad. You can still use it. You can have fun with the game. We're not saying don't play this character, but yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, I think there was also an issue where people would take our videos, as they've always done. They did it in Monster Hunter 2, where they would take our videos and be like, oh, well, see, so-and-so says this, so you need to do it that way because they're this way. And then they would attribute that to our community or like us, that we were elitist. And every single one of our videos was says, you know, play the way you want to play. This is just, you know, our perspective. And, you know, I've removed people from our Discord before for acting out. If you don't believe me, ask the Kolv Taroth mains, which you can't because they're gone.
You can't, they're gone.
They would. So there was a room in our Discord specifically for Kolv Taroth, and they would go in there, and there was a small group of people, probably like 5'10", which I guess doesn't sound that small, but when you consider the size of our Discord, and they would go to other streamers' channels, and they would be like, hey, streamer, you're doing Kolv Taroth. And they're like, yeah, I'm new at it. And they're like, oh, cool. And then they go in there, and while they were doing like a phase 4, like the full thing, they would go in and do a phase 1 while they were doing it, which, if you know anything about Kolv Taroth, as soon as somebody clears Kolv, the rewards are set. So if you didn't do what you needed to do, you got crappy rewards. And then they would sit there and keep doing phase 1s while they were trying to just even break a single part. And their quest would keep resetting and they would get nothing.
And then they wouldn't know why it was happening. And then they would get frustrated.
Yeah. And then these guys would come back in and like talk about how funny their the streamer's reaction was and make fun of them.
Toxic as fuck.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that was going on until one of the streamers came in and talked to me. And I'm like, oh, okay, you guys need to knock that off. It's like, oh, we're just in there doing the hunts. Okay, well, you know what you're doing. You're doing it on purpose. Like, oh, we were just, and then like they, you know, basically, just long story short, I deleted the room and they all left. And I mean, whatever, they're gone. I don't care. And I've always like, if you have a problem with somebody in my community, you let me know. They will be gone. And that has always been our stance. We've always been a play how you want. it's just a game. Have fun.
Have I been a problem
And
yet? I'm kidding.
I've been meaning to say something for a while now.
oh no.
Tuner, like last podcast, like Skoj gave me the finger to go, but it wasn't time to go yet, and I thought that was kind of toxic and mean. Like it almost felt like he was bullying me. So I mean, since we're on your podcast set today, I feel like you're enabled to do this.
Skoj, I'm sorry, bud.
Yeah.
Get out.
Let's go.
No, wait, come back. No, but I totally agree with that, and like that's the problem about like any like large community. And like when I say large, like even like a middling sized community can have these problems, right? Where it's so strange. Like it's so weird. It's someone takes what you do, someone takes something that you make and they weaponize it, right?
Yeah.
And they turn it into a tool to like attack, belittle, whatever other people. And it's so strange when like just this cool, like, because what you guys did was like I literally never looked at it as like this is the way I need to play the game. That's never been, any Mathalos video that ever came out. I was never like, that's how I have to play the game. It was just like a cool thought experiment, but like actually put into action. Like, hey, how do we get the biggest number out of this? And like, let's go through that math and like, let's visualize that and then let's attempt it. And I'm like, dude, that's sick. Like, that's so cool. Not like you have to do this on Cool of Tarath, and if you don't do it that way, then you're a bad gamer. But that's like this the unfortunate part is that like someone took this really cool thing that you made and decided to weaponize that to like harm other people. Fuck that. That's awful. Fuck that.
No, that's so bad.
Blech.
Yeah. No, I mean that's how I feel too. And then you try to explain to them, and they're just like, "Well, it was your community. Your community." It's like, dude, anybody, literally anybody, can go to anyone's video, take it at any time, and just like they're not even in my community, bro. They're like, they just came to the YouTube channel for 5 seconds. They're not in my Discord.
It's not.
And they just took the video, and
it's not your responsibility
exactly.
either. Like that's like you can.
Well, this is the difference. There is a difference between a person viewing your content and taking that out of context and then using that in other places to belittle or disparage, harm somebody else. Then there is you weaponizing your community to go and attack and belittle and harm somebody else. So the difference here is the individual and then the community, right? The individual took that content to go and tell Skoj that he was fighting Elatrian wrong versus me telling my community to go and tell Skoj that he is doing Elatrian wrong.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be honest, like we've even seen some stuff of that recently here in the Monster Hunter community of people weaponizing their communities.
Whoa, yeah. Oh, oh man, I can't believe. On the internet of all places, it happens everywhere. I used to be like, before I started streaming, before I started getting like really into the Monster Hunter community, like even we saw this kind of stuff in Pokemon VGC. I've been following since 2014, and like that's like why I built that's why I made a Twitter account, was to keep up with Pokemon VGC. And we saw that stuff all the time. Like people would make competitive teams, like have their like favorite Pokemon on there. Like me, I built a competitive team in Gen 6 that had Mega Swampert on it, and I had people telling me constantly that it was bad, and I was still like winning events with it, and I was like, I didn't care. But like you would have other people that like actually took that to heart, like, oh well, they told me my Heliolisk with dry skin is bad. It's like, who gives a shit? Are you having fun? Like, that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Opinions, God.
The same man. I'm gonna go off on a tangent.
Hold on, capturing this in 4K. Give me a second.
Like, it's the same people that cry wolf about toxicity in the community that are making the toxicity in a community. Like legitimately, the people that are like, where like oh my gosh, like everyone's so dramatic and like there's always drama every week, are the same people that are signal boosting and creating the drama. Just next time that you're like on Twitter and you're about to go like, man, this dumb Enna egg bullshit, I hate it and it's awful and the Monster Hunter community sucks because of it.
Next tweet. Egg.
You're that guy.
Dude, and that's honestly like my experience is like the people who claim that my community was toxic end up, you turn around and like they're the most toxic person in there. Like I remember there was one guy in the Monster Hunter community who we ended up having a spat with, and he said a bunch of shit about us, and that ended up getting kind of out there for a while. I went into his Twitch stream to just even say hi, and I just said my name, and apparently he had like a bot that auto took whenever somebody said my name, and it would respond with "I hate math." And literally I just said hi, but the bot read my username and immediately responded with "I hate math" smiley face.
All right.
And
that's kind of funny.
That's kind of.
I mean,
like incredibly toxic.
It is toxic.
Using it.
No,
no, it was funny.
Like out of they're using it to like immediately disparage you. But could you imagine if you had that bot in your channel? How fucking funny that would be. Like, hey, Tuner, I hate math. All right. Setting the tone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like out of context, hilarious. In context, this is awful. A travesty. If you support that kind of behavior, we'll find you.
Well, and he was super embarrassed. He's like, "Oh god!" Like I don't know if he ever thought I was ever gonna like never come into his chat or something, or he didn't. And like, but he's like super embarrassed. Like, "Oh, like we need to get rid of that bot. We need to get rid of the bot." He's just like, "Why did you have it in the first place?" I'm sorry.
And like those kind of people, they get like the mildest amount of traction from being a toxic piece of shit towards somebody. They develop their entire personality around hating one person, and then they develop this like little cult following around themselves that is also dedicated to hating one person. Yeah, it's really cool going into a stream saying hi and someone going, "Oh, you're the guy we all hate."
That may or may not have happened in the Genshin community. A guy literally like made his channel off of trashing us and our take on that character that I was talking about. He went from like 0 subs to now he streams to like 5,000 people, and he built it all off of trashing theory crafters and people who but
I bet you that community is so like welcoming and warm and inviting and accepting to ideas and different perspectives and personalities. Totally probably not an echo chamber at all. Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll fucking say it. I don't care.
You said
that's like one of the things. I'm so scared every day that like one day the community will take off and like people will join it and enjoy it and appreciate it, but then like a subsect of people will create a cult within it that's the thing that people then start to idealize, or at least identify with, is like this cult following within my community that ends up being toxic and awful, and then that gets associated with me, right? Like that's awful. That sucks. And that shit happens all the time.
It happens with everyone, and you just have to, I don't know, it's really hard to stand your ground with that kind of stuff, but you really have to.
I mean, it's hard to police it too, because sometimes it happens like behind the fray. Like there's nothing stopping anybody from making a Discord community called like
Jal haters.
Bagels bullies, or Jal haters, right? Or like anything like that. Like there could be 20 people right now going around on Twitch pretending to be like a raid from me and then just bullying the shit out of people, right?
Yeah.
Like there's literally nothing stopping people from doing that, and that's terrifying. And you would never know until it finally like got into your circles.
No, yeah, it's like this thing with the Cove mains. I had no idea that was happening until a streamer like came and was like, "Hey, your people are doing this," and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, but I feel like I don't know. Would that be your responsibility though? I wouldn't think it
Absolutely.
would be. Would it?
It ends up being my once I know about it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, once
that's
you
my
know about it,
responsibility.
yeah. But I mean, just like, yeah,
But
that's
see,
what
some people don't ask that question, Skoy. They're gonna they just assume, oh well, they were in so and so's Discord, they must have known about it. I have 30,000 people in my Discord server. You know, those rooms change like paragraphs, like books worth of text every day. You know, it's like
You
I can't keep
up with that.
No.
unless I'm literally sitting there watching every single room. Then I'd never stream. I'd never make any content.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
things happen that I don't know about until it's brought to my attention. Now
Yeah,
you have
no.
the question to you can be either, okay, what do I know about this person? Do I know them to be a pretty nice person who's engaging, or do I know them to be an asshole? So, oh well, they're pretty nice in general. Okay, so do you think they know about what's going on in their community that has a shit ton of people in it?
Yeah.
Well, I would
that's-
like to assume that they're a nicer person than that. You know, it's like just use your thought processes and
Mhm.
like put two and two together. Like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. No, I didn't mean it in terms of that. I meant to, like, if it's something that's happening behind your back and you don't know until something is brought up, then I mean, you're not responsible for going out and finding every individual person that could be someone until you figure it out. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah.
No, you're not responsible to do that, but it
No.
ultimately does harm you. So like, where do you draw that line as like, you know, someone that is a victim of this, right? Because like, not only are the people that they would like be targeting victims, you and this literal slander, that like you are that victim of this slander, right? And so like, I know like for me, I'd be fucked if this ever happened to me. Like right now, if like anybody with a middling amount of you know traction just started going out and literally like just slinging shit using my name doing it, I'd be fucked, right? Like I would get zero traction. I wouldn't be able to clear the air. I don't have that kind of like following or that presence to be able to do that, you know?
No.
Like you
And the
like
worst part about it
that would
is
just happen.
the worst part about it is on the internet, like whoever says the first thing first pretty much gets to set the entire story, because
Exactly.
you know, if so and so says, oh well, this person's an asshole, then all of a sudden everybody blocks you and they're never even going to hear your side. I mean, Skoy, you were there, you knew what happened. I'm not going to bring it up again, but like there's still people in this community who think I'm a terrible person, you know, for whatever happened whenever it happened. And I never got a chance to even explain my side to them, because the first thing that happens is like, okay, well, this guy's an asshole, and they blocked me, and I've never heard from him again. And I can't do anything about it. I'll never be able to do anything about it. And these people will live the rest of their lives thinking that I'm a terrible person, and that's just the reality.
Yeah. That's just like how social media tends to like run itself too, because like we are not in this position where we can reach hundreds of thousands of people in an instant, right? Like news can do this. News can change the dialogue at any moment. It's like, oh, we'll just put the story out there, like people will read it. It's only if it gets in front of them, right? It's like the same thing with content creation. Make the thing and put it out there, but it's only successful if it gets in front of people. You got to win that like YouTube algorithm lottery, right? In the same sense, like how many media outlets do we individually as content creators have? Our Twitch platform, our YouTube platform, and Twitter, Instagram, OnlyFans. Like, you know, there's only so many ways that I can take my voice and send it to 400 people that don't care, right? Like, you know, you see it all the time. It's like, yeah, I got 400 followers on Twitter. Yeah, all of them care about my shit, and I post something and 2 likes. It's like, that makes sense. It's because that you know interaction there, like that's not an audience, right?
Yeah.
So if you're taking notes on how to destroy a content creator, that's what today's whole podcast is about, apparently.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is the things that we are always anxious about. You think we're thinking about like what video to make next or like what the next stream is going to be? Nah, we're contemplating how it all ends.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, here. I'm gonna use the restroom real quick. You guys continue Gavin if you want to.
All right, here, hold on, Skoy. Let me move forward so you can get out. All right.
Yeah, hold on. You ready?
Yeah,
You ready? You ready?
Get-
Hold.
get
Wait, no,
around.
Sko, you want to come my way?
Yeah, you're right. Well, that means you have to go all the way around the entire thing.
Well, you gotta,
Yeah.
it's okay, go around.
Skoy's universe ends that way. which is even
Look, I'm gonna go
funnier.
into like basically Jal's butt to go like.
Okay, we're going to his butt. Oh, let me get in this chair. All right, so this is welcome to the Tuner and Jal podcast.
Yep.
My name is Tuner. I'm in the center
I'm
seat.
Jal.
Look at my gamer chair. Real big gamer here.
We're now bagel with locks. Oh man. But I don't know. That's the kind of shit that I think about, right? I can't even concentrate like for a moment on actual like things that I want to do without even thinking about like how does this all end? Like inevitably when this all ends, like how does it happen?
Yay! Nihilism.
Yeah. No, but it's still I want to pull it back a little. Streaming is still fun. Content creating is still fun. Like doing these things is still fun, you know? I haven't been keeping up with your content per se, but do you have like anything like in the works now or like any series or projects that you guys have been working on, or are you just kind of like in this limbo with everyone else as far as like content is concerned?
I've been doing some like really stupid short stuff.
Okay.
A little recently. I just I've just been taking clips from the YouTube or from the Twitch and putting them to YouTube, seeing if there's any interest at all in like a clip compilation style thing.
Gotcha.
But then Rise will be coming out tomorrow, which is great.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely be streaming that and maybe doing what I want to do is like some interviews with people in the Monster Hunter community and kind of use my platform to give some direction to them, you know, like head some traffic to them and see if can't help the community. And I posted
I think honestly, like I think we need more of stuff like that, right? Because there are two sides to this coin, right? This is the same content creator coin. There is, you know, a case to be made where having community and having everyone kind of know everyone is a really good thing. So there's always content as a viewer to watch, right? And there's this sense of camaraderie and community around the game that you play. And that kind of like strengthens, you know, the rating mentality and just like going and watching people mentality and sharing each other's content, enjoying each other's content, and even like collaborating. But then there's like the other side of it, right? Like when people start seeing that success and start understanding where that success is coming from and where it's actually coming from like selfish intent, you know, like sharing yourself with like you're sharing only yourself with your community and you know, pulling back on raids and like making sure that people come and watch you, right? Like it's this weird thing because like both there's like this balance to it, right? Like you need a community that supports you, but then also, you know, if every single stream you're telling your community like go watch somebody else instead of me, like it feels like you're shooting yourself in the foot, you know?
Yeah. And actually that's a really good point. And I was actually just thinking about mentioning that at some point. You know, with like me, I usually give the analogy, it's like, okay, you come into my burger place and like you're down for a burger. And I'm like, yeah, but you know, you should try SkojSkull's pizza, dude. It's really good. That's you know, head over there for some pizza.
Yeah.
And you know, like somebody's coming into your restaurant to eat and you're like suggesting somebody else's food. It's kind of weird. I admire Skoj a lot.
If you only serve burgers, it makes sense, right? And like that's and this analogy, I get this analogy, and to make it clear for everybody, it's the difference in content, right? I speedrun games. You know, I don't play Genshin. If you like speedrunning, but you also like Genshin, you would like Tuner's content, right? Because he's playing optimally. He's doing things in this free-to-play optimization kind of sphere. but I'm never going to play Genshin. So if you want Genshin content, you go and watch that. If you want a burger today and not like a taco,
Mhm.
you know, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the problem, I guess, the problem ends up being is like, for instance, Skoj and I. Now, Skoj, I'm sorry, I'm a better gamer than you. It's okay.
Got him.
It's not that
Got
hard.
No, but you know, we're both really, I would say, people would describe us as chill, right? Like we're kind of chill. We listen to some music. We joke a lot, and so
Speaking of
it's
music,
like
I'm gonna guess undo some after that. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
it's like, you know, if I recommend my stream to you and somebody goes to watch your stream, it's like, well, I like Skoj better, you know, and then I lose a customer because like, again, they're going in for a burger. And this time I'm not recommending a pizza place. I'm like, oh yeah, you think my burgers are good? You should try Skoj's burgers. Those are the banger burgers. And like, I do admire you a lot, Skoj, because I mean, every day you're shouting out like everybody who rated you from the end of the stream, and you're like really open in the community, and you kind of just hang around. And I'm like, dude, this is my sole source of income. If people just stop showing up, what the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And you know,
It's scary.
like, YouTube is a collaboration place. I can make a YouTube video with like Cups and direct people to Cups' channel, and they can watch my YouTube video when they're pissing in the morning or when they're eating at night, and it's still there. And then they can watch Cups' video, or you know, whoever's video, you know, when they're eating lunch and brushing their teeth at night. It doesn't matter. Those videos are gonna be there. But if two people stream at the exact same time, you have to make a choice who you want to watch. You can't watch both. And that's scary to me. It's truly horrifying. And it's kind of why I mean, I'll shout people out occasionally, you know, especially somebody like Kanta or whatever. But, you know, I don't have like a command that just says, hey, go to this person's channel and watch them.
Yeah.
And when I raid people, I raid from a very selective list of people that I've like watched a lot
And vetted.
and vetted, and you know,
I have had so many bad interactions with like rating someone that I didn't know from Adam. I don't do it anymore, right? Like people, and I always tell people like recommend new people to me because I want to meet new people. But like if I don't know them, I'm not gonna raid them.
Oh, yeah,
right.
don't.
It's like when new people raid me, I absolutely love it because that means I get to discover someone new. And half the time they're like cool people.
Yeah.
But the last time I raided somebody, it was awful. That person sucked. Like, and I don't say that about a lot of people, right? And like it wasn't like just like a humor problem or anything like that. No, they were just an awful human being. They were just terrible. They were just like literally the worst person ever. I was just like, oh, I'm sorry I brought any of you here. I literally went into my Discord and apologized to everyone in that raid. Then I was like, I'm sorry I did that to you. This person was actually terrible.
Like I definitely like have like I ask people, yeah, you can recommend me a person to raid and link me it because I will not raid them right now. I will check them out at some point and see what kind of content creator they are and what kind of person they are, but I will not raid a random person. I don't think I will ever do that ever. Like I've met some good people from doing that. I met Jitsu from doing that. I raided him randomly, and then we became great friends after that. But no, like I don't think I could ever risk that, like dropping my community off to who knows where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People suck.
Yeah, they can.
So community building.
people suck.
But
no, but like I mean that's kind of like the idea though, Tuner, that like we had with this podcast, right? Is because like we wanted to have, at least I know for me, like I wanted to have more one-on-one time with people that are inside the Monster Hunter community, because a lot of the times people look at streamers as just that, like they're just streamers. Like what are like, oh yeah, Skoj, oh yeah, I know him, he's a good streamer. But then like I think about, you know, some of like the other like gigantic, you know, personalities, right? And that was like one of the goals here is like to show to people like, hey, we have a personality like outside of the stream. Like we have like opinions and views and interests like outside of just the Monster Hunter stuff or the Genshin Impact stuff or just gaming in general, right? Even though it's predominantly what we talk about because it's like the common interest between all of us. But it's just it was at least for me, like I thought it was like a near way to pull the community a little bit closer together, right? Like Skoy and us to share our time with other people and share you guys with our communities. You know, so I get that.
Yeah, I honestly, I think that's kind of why I was thinking like, because I have 150,000 subscribers on YouTube, and if I
Number.
as what
Big number.
yeah, if I use that to kind of chat up some people that I've had experiences with, I've talked to people like Skoy for a long time, people like Cups, people like Sly, and other people like that. It'd be a good way of sending some traffic their way without. I guess I feel like it's such a separate entity that I can be like, it's not like you're coming into my burger place and I'm recommending you a burger. It's like, I'm just helping advertise somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, when you're absolutely right. Like the YouTube is always there, but the stream is a live media platform, right? So like if people don't interact with it while you're live, you don't get as much out of it. But on YouTube, if they interact with that at literally any time, you still gain something from it.
Right.
So like it makes sense. And I think that's kind of like the same, perspective that Skoy and I have with this, right? It's something that we can put out there that people can enjoy at their own time, and we get to, push some people and have an interesting conversation and I don't know, have fun with it. In Animal Crossing land.
I pitched the
Animal Crossing land.
Yes. Tuner pitched the idea to me. It's like, what if I use my Animal Crossing avatar? I'm like, what if we're in your Animal Crossing?
Yeah, because I was thinking about just using my green screen room.
Yeah.
That I used to stream with, and then just hop into something. I don't know, wherever you guys have your thing, and yeah, he was just like, no, you have that podcast room.
We need to use that. Can we rent out space?
Can we rent out the Tuner space, please? Thank you. Oh.
For $1 billion.
But no, you've had a lot of success with building up a very large community, and through that, you've done that with you've seen a lot of that through Genshin Impact, and from what we've heard from you, it was kind of overwhelming at the point where there was like almost 1,000 to 1,500 people per stream, and there was at some points like even 2,000 above. It was a lot.
Yeah, I've got that picture somewhere. Is it somewhere on my phone still? The day that I had peak concurrent was like 3,600 people.
Whoa.
And I was just like, no, please. Literally go away.
Suffering from success.
No, I mean, I actually was just like, could you guys stop showing up? Because I don't want this.
But
I don't want the pressure. Like any random little thing you say, a random colloquialism from some part of the country or world that people aren't familiar with, and they're just like, what does that mean? Oh, what? And then you're like, gotta suddenly explain yourself, or if you're fighting and all of a sudden you die, you get like 1,000 keks in your chat because I mean, like you're disappointing 1,000 people at the same time. Like I feel bad when I disappoint one people. Imagine doing it in front of 3,000. That is larger than my grandmother's hometown. Like I am a simple Midwestern boy. I do not deserve this attention. I'm scared.
That's the other thing too, is that I mean, and not to be like punish you with kindness, right? But like you do, like you put a lot of effort between Mathalos and between like your own community and between the Jinjinx and Tuner content, you both of you have put in like so much work, but like you have put in a lot of work into like building a community and like making sure that you're present in it and air quotes managing it and making it successful. Like there are times I totally get like checking your ego and stuff like that, because I do it all the time too. Like, oh yeah, like I suck at speedrunning, like, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, Zhao, you literally hold 10 world records. Yeah, but I suck at this, So like, I totally get that mentality. But like at the same time, like seeing you with 1,000 viewers, to me, at least personally, coming from like my perspective as like a longtime viewer of the Mathalos channel and stuff like that, seems appropriate. Right, whether or not it's overwhelming, like that's an entirely different thing, but it definitely seems like an appropriate response to the success that you had there.
I mean, thanks, it's very nice of you to say that. But there was like a time where I stopped streaming because there was too many people. I didn't want to stream anymore.
Yeah,
and so I stopped streaming.
That's fair.
And I was hoping that like maybe they would just go away. And they did, which is good, because now I've got like a much more manageable 100 people. That's great. I'm glad. I'm sometimes it peaks up a little bit higher. I think when I did that giving away account thing, it was like a peak of 1,000 again, which I was like, yes. Well, here we go. Here comes the problems. But then the next stream afterward, it was like back down to 100. I'm like, okay, good. They were only here for my free account.
What? I know it was kind of overwhelming and everything, but what was it that you didn't like about it? Because I know there wasn't as much interaction as you would before. Did it feel like you were kind of going backwards as you were going forwards, where like your interaction would have to change to where you had to kind of create your own conversation again, or like how did you feel about it?
Well, one, I've always said if I never want to be so big of a streamer. Because here's the reality. Okay, there are lots of people out there who all they do is they go to work. They maybe eat a little bit of lunch and they go back to work, and then they come home and they're exhausted. Maybe they've worked 2 jobs, or maybe they go to work and then they go to school, or they go to work and they take care of the kids or something. And they sit down at a computer, and the one thing they want to do is they want to watch us. They want to watch their favorite streamer do whatever it is they want to do. And they go in, and maybe they have a little bit of extra money, or maybe they don't have any money at all. And they go in and they say hi to their favorite streamer. But their streamer's too busy with everybody else in chat, and their message gets lost.
Yeah.
And they don't see it. And if you've ever seen that Peepo animation where he's like, streamer, please watch this thing that I made for you. And the streamer's just super dismissive of it, and he just sits there and he cries. And I've actually got like some tears in my eyes right now.
Oh.
But I don't want to be the guy who doesn't have time for somebody who's all they want to do is just say hi to me, and I don't have time for them.
Yeah.
Because there's just too much going on. And like, I see even bigger streamers like that, like bigger streamers than that, with the 20s and the 10s and the 20,000s or more. And they don't have time to thank people for the amount of money they're getting. If I gave $5 to somebody and they didn't even acknowledge my presence, I would be devastated. I don't think I'd be able to eat that night. I mean, shit, dude. There were days when I didn't have $5 to eat because that meant I wasn't paying rent. Like, if I gave that to somebody and they just, I mean, dude, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be the guy. Like, somebody else can do that. I don't want to be there.
Yeah, there was a big turning point, like for me too. Because I mean, I know exactly like where you're coming from. I had people like DM me on Discord and say like, hey, like, sorry I haven't been around like the past couple of streams. Like, there's just too many people there and I'm not comfortable anymore. And I'm like, I get that, like I get that, but like we do our best as like creators and curators of these spaces to like make sure they don't change or try to respond in the same ways, and it is really difficult, and especially like with more viewership and with a larger audience and with a larger chat, like the community does change, the content changes, the paradigm changes, and it's really hard to adjust to that.
Well, and the worst part is like it's punishing you for what you like to do.
Exactly.
Because you get people who come in and they're like, oh, wow, this streamer's really communicative. He pays attention. He says hi to everybody. That's so awesome. I'm going to keep staying around. But then like another 100 people do that. And then maybe another 100 people do that. It's like, oh, this streamer's so good. He pays attention to everybody. He says hi to everybody. And then like, oh, streamer changed. He doesn't say hi to me anymore. Oh, he doesn't.
Chat changed. The community changed. I don't see the message. It goes too quickly.
Yeah,
that's literally what was happening.
Oh yeah. I do feel bad with it personally myself as well. Like there have been times where I've missed a message or two when chat goes by, and that's because either I'm busy with a game or there's just something that's happening that I just miss. And yeah, you do feel bad, but I don't know, like. Yeah,
I will say this: like there are air quotes tools to assist us with that, like sub chat only, follower only, slow mode, and stuff like that. But even just those options, like limits the interactivity of your channel, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like one of the things that I pride myself on is like being able to say hi to new people that come in, right? Like I'm comfortable doing that. Like a brand new person comes in, like they have like, you know, the first time chatter like little banner in there.
Oh, I love
now
that.
I'm really happy they're changing that, because right now it's forced on you for that to always happen.
Yeah.
But they're changing that to an introduce yourself. You get a prompt and you get to choose to like do an introduction message. And like, and then it says like, this person's new to the channel. And then you get to like say like, hi, like my name's this, I like Great Jogress or whatever, you know? That they tweeted that out like today.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I had no idea. I mean, I like the first time chatter thing because, you know,
I love it too.
Like, it gives me like oh hey, okay, let's put on the fancy hat for a second and we'll do the little magic like, hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream.
Oh yeah, I like that because it's also only viewable to mods and yourself. Like it's only.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's only viewable to mods and yourself. It's not viewable to everyone in your chat.
I didn't know that.
Oh. I did not know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which now it makes a lot of sense because I've never seen that in someone else's channel. But I think that's nice. I think the introduce yourself though goes to everyone. Like like you introduce yourself to like the whole community. But I never liked the idea of being forced to like do that. Where was I going with this?
Yeah, sure. We threw a lot of different points in there as well.
I had a point. Oh yeah, like so. This like because that was like the thing that I wanted to combat here, right? Is that you change the paradigm of your channel when you have to put on those tools that slow down chat, like slow mode, like follower only mode, like sub only mode, right? Or like emote only mode, right? You're still changing the paradigm. It's weird to have to wait 30 seconds to send another message.
Right.
It's really strange, especially with like how I type on Twitch. I'm annoying. I'll type the same sentence over 8 messages. I love you. And that's why I do that, because I'm so excited. But I have to remember that, like going on to the official Monster Hunter channel when like Jono does those streams, like I like to go in there, I like to say hi, I like to talk and like talk about Rise and like all that stuff. It's about the only Rise content that I consume right now. And I have to remember I have to remember that the slow mode is on, because then all it is like I'm just like saying like I'll see like Skoj and I'd be like Skoj, and then like that's it, and there's nothing else to that message.
Could you imagine Kanta's chat with slow mode on? Like with literally everyone, just like anytime somebody comes in, they're just like, yes, at this person, like Kanta comfy. At this person, Kanta. It's just like chains of. It reminds me of the Spider-Man meme where you've got like the 3 Spider-Men pointing at each other. That's just Kanta's chat.
Yeah.
I want to like combat that idea of like, oh, we'll just turn that on. I'm like, but that changes your experience, right? And so we run back to the same problem. We are changing the paradigm of chat and of the community and of the interaction, right? So Plus, I don't know why. I like explicitly say all the time, "Hey, no paragraphs in chat," because I have my chat like larger in font, so I only see like 6 messages at a time. So when someone types a paragraph, everything's just gone.
Right.
But slow mode does that to people, right? You have slow mode enabled, everyone types a paragraph, and I'm like, I'm doing a speed run, dude. Like, give me four words or less, man. Okay, it was good, thanks, perfect. You know,
Me word good, you word less.
I've had situations where, huh? What?
Not read.
What happened? What'd you say? Sorry.
No, I'm just saying, it's like if you give me a novel, I can't read it, right?
Oh yeah,
Like,
no. There,
in the
there
middle
was
of a fight.
there was one time where you were like near the end of a speed run and you saw the corner of your eye, and I was in the chat and you were just like, "Hey, that's a paragraph," and they were like, "I know."
I've never like rude about it, right? I want
No,
it
it
to
was
be
a friend of yours as well, but yeah.
yeah. Like I always wanted to be explicitly known. I'm like, oh, those are a lot of words. I ain't reading that. It's not happening. I'm in the middle of leg locking Xenojiva, dude. You type it later or less word.
Or Dono for a long essay. I'm kidding though.
Or DM me. My DMs are always open, dude.
Yeah.
Anyone can DM.
Oh yeah.
Probably a mistake, but anyone can DM me. When you
Dude.
listen to this, DM me.
The worst part is when like I'm dumb and sometimes like I get to read the DMs at like midnight or later, like sometimes 3 a.m. and I'm like, yes, well, see, a normal person would not respond to this at 3 a.m. and wake somebody up. I'll respond to it later. And then you forget.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then they go, streamer didn't pay attention to my message. And I just go, no, I'm sorry, I forget.
I've done that to some of my friends. And I feel terrible.
It happens,
Yeah.
right? I mean, like that's the thing too, is that like if you have the people that are looking for excuses to be mad at you, you don't need them around. Like because I happened to be the other day too with you know someone that I consider a mutual, right? And like they messaged me, and then I think it took me 3 days to message them back on Discord. I remember reading the message too, and I just forgot. They messaged me back just like, you know, like a peak emote, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, you know, like it happens.
Oh yeah.
And it's gonna happen. And like the people that get upset about it, you know, they're just looking for reasons to be mad at you already. You need the people that are gonna like, oh yeah, no problem, water off the back. Anyways, how was your day? Here's a picture of my cat. Yo, that is peak interaction right there. You send me a picture of your animal in a DM, you have me.
And then you
You have
don't
my
reply.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna snap a couple pictures of the cat, and okay, send them over to Jalbagel. All right.
I'm waiting for it now. If I don't get a DM with a cat, I'm gonna be really upset.
Oh, okay.
You have a cat, right, Tutor?
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh, if we're being serious here, give me a second.
Oh yes, this is how you kill people into sending you pictures of cats.
I need to.
Here we go, and send it over.
Waits patiently. Yes.
I didn't get anything. I'm kidding.
Yeah, because I got the DM. It's a direct message, Skoy, from one to the other.
We even have a group chat. You didn't even send shit.
Picture of my cat in the group DM.
Oh, God, look at that
But now
fluffy
you won't
bastard.
send it to me. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, fine. I'll send it to Scott just by himself because he's being a bitch. He's a cat, Sky. Fuck.
That is a good-looking cat.
I'm totally kidding, by the way.
That is fluffy cat.
Sky, I want opinions on my cat. What the fuck do you think?
Adorable floofy, and I want to pet it.
Good. Good.
There we go.
This is good. This is a good reaction that you have.
Oh my gosh.
Sky, give me a high five.
Fuck.
That's so good.
Why does it work so well? I have to make sure my head is like curved in a way, so it doesn't look like this.
Yeah, right. It's all about it's all about stage presence. Listen, we're practicing for the play that we do. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm on the episode of the Muppets, right? where like you had like all of like the real life actors and then like Tuner's the Muppet and we're in their world. And so like we have to be very careful to stay within the confines, like because you know how like weird like actors look when they interact with Muppets. They're like, oh well, yeah, Elmo, like that's how sentences work. Two does in fact come after one. Like, but they're always like
Scrunched
An
up.
octagon has 8 sides.
Whoa.
it's like I don't know. I love the Muppets. I really do. But like seeing any
Elmo's
live
been trending like crazy right now.
Oh
Yeah,
god, yeah.
feud with Rocco. It's amazing.
Do I have to be the guy who says you said Muppets and then mentioned Elmo and Elmo is from Sesame Street?
It's
Shit,
still a
yeah.
puppet.
Do I have to be the guy?
No.
No, they are wildly different things. You are absolutely correct. Yes.
Wildly different.
Everyone, go ahead, crucify me, ruin me on the internet. It's
Don't mind me. I'm just over here. Thank you for the head pat, Skoy.
this whole feud with Rocco. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely like research it a little bit. I did not realize that the current actor for Elmo had this much sass. It's insane.
It's so funny.
Yeah, he's from Brooklyn, so he's got like hella sass.
Oh
my
my
gosh,
god.
it is so good.
He was talking about like colors and everything.
How's Rocco gonna eat the oatmeal cookies, Zoe? How's he gonna do it? He's a rock. Tell Elmo, how is he gonna eat the cookie? It's so good. Anymore, just go watch it. It's great.
There's so many great clips, especially with like the latest interviews that he's had. So
So good.
oh man. But
I have one last question for you, Tuner.
Okay.
What's the name of your Animal Crossing island? What island are we on right now?
Rosewood Island.
Rosewood.
Yeah.
really nice.
What did I name mine? Bread Barn. Bread Box. I named mine Bread Box.
Mine is Skull Island. That's a
Original.
no, it's not.
It's actually an evil villain.
Oh no, for me it's just because SkojSkull's in my name. There's a skull in my name.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. The Skull Island is what like egomaniac, maniacal, like supervillains name where their secret hideout is, and the island's like shaped like a skull. So when you fly over it, you know.
I'm gonna change my island. I'm gonna restart the whole account now.
Oh, yeah, because you've been playing. Well, I mean, I figured you had stopped because of like Rise and Final Fantasy and stuff like that. But like for a while there, like you were hardballing Animal Crossing, which had me really happy.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm 80 hours into it right now. Mostly I've been just checking turnip prices.
Oh, I remember those days.
I'm broke.
I remember waking up. So the game came out in the beginning of 2020, right when like lockdown happened for most places. I remember waking up every day at like 8:30, working from home, getting up, sitting down at my computer, opening Teams, opening my email, not doing anything until noon, and just playing Animal Crossing. Oh God, can we go back to those days? Holy, but like without the life-threatening virus.
Yeah.
That was the bad part.
I mean, but you remember though, that's about the time I feel like everybody was kind of sick of Monster Hunter, like Iceborne. We'd all the people who played it consistently were just like, okay, dude, I'm done with Clutch Claw. I'm done with it. And March, it was like March, and like all of the Monster Hunter creators were playing fucking
Animal Crossing.
We're playing fucking Animal Crossing.
Everyone was. The world was playing Animal Crossing. We didn't have lives anymore. We were in quarantine. I couldn't go and see a movie. I haven't seen a movie since 2019. It's 2022.
You could go out and see a movie now.
I might have seen a new movie recently. Yo ho. I acquired it via totally legal means. I'm not gonna.
Oh,
you just got.
I just got there.
I totally went to an actual movie theater in the middle of a pandemic. Yes, you know, because they decided that movies were going to be only in theaters once again. Yes, I absolutely went to that theater.
You wouldn't steal a car.
I wouldn't download a NFT. Right click. What are you going to do about it?
Oh my god, don't get me started. I had to explain NFTs over the holidays. So Christmas just happened, and I had to explain what NFTs and cryptocurrency were to my mother and to her parents, who are 81 and 84.
Why?
They asked.
Oh.
I answered. My mom literally goes, what's an NFT, and why do they all look like gross, like, chimpanzees? And I was like, this is a conversation I get to have on Christmas Eve. We spent 2.5 hours talking about cryptocurrency and NFTs. My mom's like, well, what's like, how does like a Bitcoin work? Like, who makes it? And someone goes, well, the government makes them. I'm like, no, that's the exact opposite of like the reason why Bitcoin exists.
No, you just tell them, look, it's made via magic.
Magic. I wish
you smile.
They're too fucking smart. All of them are just too goddamn smart.
Oh yeah, well,
you know, my mom and my grandparents, they're all geniuses.
Oh damn.
And like, I can't get past. I can't give them a nothing answer because if I could, I'd just be totally like, yeah, man, it's magic money on the internet made by like robots or something, and be like, oh, okay. Like they'd be like, no, it's not. Tell me the answer. Damn it.
Shit.
God damn it! Quit. Just let me get out of this conversation.
Yeah.
God.
There's been a lot of conversation about it recently as well. Whereas like, it's just gonna get bigger from here. Like video game companies are already looking. Yeah, NFTs. Like people are.
You want to know something funny?
Wait, hold. Can I say this real quick?
Oh yeah.
So there was someone saying that they can like lock behind NFTs to like a character skin or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Genshin Impact could possibly lock behind a character skin or a character itself behind an NFT. You having to buy one.
That's a hellscape I would never want to live in.
I would quit. What would you quit? Yes.
Yes, all of it.
All of it. All at once.
This is the scary thing about NFTs and the kind of people that are getting involved in them. According to, I can't source this correctly. I read a tweet, which was a much longer article, which had really good sources about this. But one of the larger like NFT databases houses the information that is like every NFT that's minted, every person that owns it. 90% of the NFTs that exist on that website today, which like I said, houses the majority of minted NFTs, are held by less than 400,000 people.
But
so if you think about how much money is in NFTs, less than 40,000 people are involved in literally billions of dollars of transactions in non-fungible tokens.
Well, and then an issue, as I've come to understand it, is basically like what they do is they wash it, where like
it's just
three people will basically, I'll sell it to you, and you'll sell it to Skoj, then Skoj will sell it to me, and then I'll sell it to you, and you sell it to Skoj, and we basically keep raising the price of it until somebody's like, oh God, this thing's a hot item. Fuck, I got to get on in this. And you buy it, but we've never lost any money. And we just split the profit between the three of us.
Scummy.
And then just do another one and another one and another one and another one and another one.
And all people actively and openly talking and communicating about how they're using it to like literally wash money. It's literally just a money laundering scheme, like real artwork.
Yeah,
you know, but it's all money laundering too. And like I said, like less than 400,000 people own 90% of the minted NFTs on this blockchain website, on this blockchain database. And it really goes to show you like how signal boosted this thing is and how few people are actually involved in it and how much money is being circulated through a insignificant portion of the population. And how we as like a community and a society and media outlets and news outlets are signal boosting this thing to make it seem like a much larger thing than it actually is. Because like all these game devs are getting on it, like everyone loves it. 400,000 people, you're gonna say everyone loves it? if a game sold 400,000 copies, they call that a failure.
Yep.
So like
Well,
this isn't something that like a game developer could get into and like morally and legally, participate in and it be successful. Like they just can't, because there's no morals or legality to the system at all. They just can't do it.
A problem with it is like the entire value of the system hinges on, because it's not backed by anything. It's not backed by a government. It's not backed by anything. The entire value of the system hinges on everybody believing that these things have value. So they're super committed in drowning out anybody who has anything negative to say, and only like apparently the Reddit for NFTs is just like constantly deleting any negative criticism. And they're super invested in making you think that this is worth your money, because if you don't believe that, it's worth nothing.
Yep. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's like the same thing. Hey, remember when GameStop's stock last year like just suddenly skyrocketed?
That's because people were buying stock.
Well, it's because Reddit decided that GameStop was worth buying. The internet as a whole decided that it was worth more, and so they just bought up all of this stock at like a penny each,
and basically
then the price of it shot up.
Yeah.
CEOs sitting there like, we're doing something right, break out the champagne. It's like, sir, the internet's memeing on you. Don't open that bottle of Dom Perignon. We can't afford that, even with the fake thousands of dollars being circulated around our company right now.
Is that what's literally keeping the company alive right now?
No, GameStop's like went bankrupt.
Yeah.
They filed for bankruptcy. They're going out of business.
Yeah.
So they're the next Toys R Us now?
Yeah.
It's coming. We're moving towards a digital market.
Yeah, we are.
And Xbox and PlayStation identified this so quickly, which is like what I'm really happy about. Actually, I can't even say so quickly because Steam was like the first iteration of this actually happening. An entirely digital like game library was already popularized the moment Steam was made.
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh, hey, we're completely content with having our entire game library in digital form.
Well, Skoy, when was the last time you were in a GameStop?
Yeah, that's a good question.
No, like not even like as a sarcastic thing. Like, when was the last time you were in one?
Probably like a few weeks ago. It was mostly look at pop figures and.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, but really though, have you noticed that it's basically like a physical memorabilia retailer as opposed to a game retailer anymore? It really is like a game-focused Hot Topic anymore. And
I would be fine with that. Like if they just rebranded GameStop entirely into games memorabilia and like sold codes there. Like if I could go up and be like get rid of like because talk about the environmental impact of the fucking game cases. It's pointless. We don't need that. No, we don't need discs anymore. It's all pointless.
Yeah.
But imagine if they just moved into entirely digital like game market and then sold game memorabilia.
Obviously keep the legendary editions, if it comes with a statue, have that physically stocked there.
Yeah.
But and then like any of like the really obscure game cards, like, you can't go to Walmart and buy like a game card for X random game. Like so keep all the cash cards there, so that's a place for that. But then basically just sell like hoodies and
they don't even have to change their name.
I hate Funko Pops, but Funko Pops.
Yeah.
I have 4.
I was like, you want to talk about bad for the environment, dude?
What, Funko Pops?
Yeah.
What, the cardboard's recyclable?
Those Funko Pops are gonna outlive us all.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, no, man, it's plastic. Everything that's up on my gamer bookshelf is gonna outlive me.
Gamer.
But like, I mean, GameStop doesn't even have to like rebrand or anything. They can still keep like everything. Like they can still keep their name. Like they don't have to change it. It's not like they're saying video game disc store. It's like literally just GameStop.
Wait, quick. Trademark. Now they have to pay us for the idea.
Fuck.
No, that's a good thing. That's a good thing, Skoy. We're about to get rich.
Oh shit, you're right. How do we sign up for that?
Yes, the company that's worth a penny on stock trading is gonna make us rich.
One penny more than I already have.
True.
So you get rich.
True.
Probably. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
But-
that's how money works. If you make more than you spend, then
Yeah,
Yes.
this idea only cost whatever my electric bill and internet bill and the cost to keep me alive for the last 2 hours and
the heating that you took for
yeah,
the shower that you took and
all of that. So yeah, I think a penny profit probably outweighs that, right?
that's how I feel when like again, I mean, you can't expect to make a sub every day, but like
No.
that's like how I feel when it's like, yes, I just streamed 8 hours and got
$5.
one sub.
Not even
Dude,
$5
it's not
actually.
cheap. It is not cheap running because like I don't know about you, but I like, you know, I'm running 2 computers, 2 LED light panels, the internet, the AC in the house. Like I turn it down when I start streaming because I have 2 computers as a furnace. Like it's expensive to stream for 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you start thinking about it like a business, you know.
Dude,
Insane.
on the sly, I have a bot that goes every 20 minutes, just like, hey, love tuner, hate Jeff Bezos, here's my PayPal. I make twice as much money than that stupid sub. I've been telling everybody's like, dude, if you, because what I did was I moved all my emotes into tier 1 or follower. I said, anybody who's tier 3, please just, if you want the emotes, but then just give me the 20 afterwards. I'm gonna make like so much more money if you do that than if you give me a tier 3. And I've been telling anybody else, like, if you don't really care about the emotes, like subbing is the worst possible way to support your favorite streamer. It is literally throwing your money away as far as our paycheck is concerned, unfortunately.
Did you see that tweet recently? Someone like broke it down like each way that you could support a streamer, and they broke it down about like the purchase price of $1 through each of those systems.
Oh,
and
yeah.
subbing is actually the worst.
Yeah, no, subbing is, I know I haven't ever made a thing for it, but I've done that on the stream where I've like broken down the price per dollar and like how much I keep is like, I've told them, it's like, if you don't care about the emotes, like if you're literally just subbing to support me and that's it, this is the worst way of doing it. I've actually made a thing on the stream where if you give me $5, the price of a sub, there's like a little head pat thing, like you know that the meme where it's like the dun, 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 and then it just like dun, 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 and it pats your head. Yeah, so for $5, the price of a sub, you can head pat me, and it's been pretty. It's done okay.
Yeah. But like that supports you literally twice as much as a sub does.
Literally twice as much, and it's so like
I'm always so sketchy to be like, hey, like let's do like a subathon, because like a subathon does nothing for me other than maybe unlocking one more emote slot at this point, right?
Yeah.
And like literally half of that revenue goes to Twitch. Like I
the worst part about it is when it's on a grander scale. Like, okay, so one sub, okay, it's like you gave me $5, I got $2.50 out of that. Okay, yeah. But when somebody gifts like 20 subs and
$50
I
out
think
of the 100 that you tried to give me.
right, like I think to myself, you just spent $100 and I only got 50 of it. Now, granted, I am a very great, like I don't want to try to sound like a complete ingrate, you know, I am very grateful for that $50, but like if your purpose was to support me, you threw half of that to Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And there's
And
been
like that's something that people don't ever realize when they go like and start dropping like sub bombs. Once again, sub bombs always very nice, always very generous, and you're at least giving something to someone else too, so maybe that's part of the payoff. But like,
oh yeah,
sorry, Skoy, you were saying something?
Oh, I was gonna say like there's been a few petitions or something like that that have been out recently about like giving us more of a price cut with each sub, like giving us a 70-30 or something like that. And I feel like with that, that'll allow like a lot of percentage of streamers to do it, to have the access to be able to do this more full time. and it'll bring more people to the platform as well because they can do it more full time. But
I was actually gonna ask you, Jal, what is your split on subs? Are you 50-50 all the way through, or when you hit partner, did you get a bump?
Yeah, well, when I hit partner, tier 1s are still 50-50, tier 2s are 60-40, and tier 3 is 70-30.
Okay, so same as me. Yeah, it's like partners get more, but it's still worse. It's still worse.
Oh, and partners, apparently, I learned this the other day, get everything from a Prime sub. So if you get a Prime sub, you get the full $5. I learned that the other day. I haven't done the math on it.
What?
And I wanna check that.
No.
Because I don't think that's right either, but that's something I need to look into.
No, you can just check on your analytics page. It'll tell you how many primes you have, and then how much money you're getting from it.
All it tells me is just the money that I'm getting from Prime subs.
are you even allowed to talk about this?
There's no Skoj. If people preventing you from talking about your wages is that's like a freaking anti-union shit.
Oh.
Yeah,
But
no. Screw no.
Talk about this. This is the
like
basic partner agreement that anyone can Google, which is what I think is really funny when people try to pretend like they know what the partner agreement is. Because I had someone try to tell me that I could negotiate my subs now, and I laughed at them and asked them if they could source me something, and they sent me a article that like Pokimane wrote about negotiating subs, and I started laughing my ass off and told them that, yeah, like, dude, I get 100 subs a month. You think I can negotiate that? You need at least 500 concurrent subs a month for 3 months to even start that conversation.
yeah. Like, and way back in the
Jesus.
day, you know, each partner used to have their own partner representative. They don't even give that to people anymore unless you're like a 500 to 1,000 concurrent average forever.
That's because there's like so many partner now.
Well, yeah, and
Right,
when
yeah,
partner can go below, like, I mean, you know, we know people, not to say they're not good content creators, but like we know partners in like even the Monster Hunter community that, you know, they stream to like 5 or 6 people. And again, nothing about like, because their content is good. It's just, you know, the check mark doesn't mean everything.
No.
Correct.
Except for more emote slots, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And quality options?
Guaranteed quality options. Yeah,
Guaranteed quality.
that's actually really nice.
Yeah.
Especially when you stream at like peak times, because like for me, I've always streamed at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the weekdays, and that's when literally everyone else is streaming too. So it's always harder to get quality options when everyone is streaming at once. Like if you go live at like 10 a.m. Eastern, you're getting them every single time.
Oh. I didn't know that was the case, actually.
Yeah, it's a lottery system. They just choose people to give it to.
And then you can
if
just
it's available.
stream at 4K on YouTube.
Yeah,
Which I don't know.
it's insane.
But yeah, I mean, I feel like that covers about everything that we wanted to go over.
Yeah, and we ranted about even more that we wanted to talk about.
You guys want to sit on my casting couch?
Can I say no? Is the airport still open? Can I leave? Uber? Can I catch a flight out of here ASAP?
So we gotta go.
I'm all alone. There's no one left beside me.
Cause you gotta have friends.
Because you gotta have friends. Oh no, I was actually just gonna show you my game, like my actual living room of my house.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit, take us with you.
Cool.
Like, you guys want to go see the living room?
Oh god.
Yeah.
Gonna be wait, hold on.
Okay, get up and go
Alright, go
here.
for it.
1 second.
We're going on an adventure, everyone.
We're going on an adventure.
Oh my gosh. We're going through his house right now.
Where are we going to be on the couch? We don't have bottom parts of us. Oh, look at your house. Look at this little.
I can just sit here and you go sit on the couch.
Oh. Oh, it is like actually a casting couch. Oh no. Oh.
This is, I don't know. Well, here we are.
We're on the cat. Oh, I'm not behind you. I'm in front of you. You put your shoulder, put your arm around my shoulder there. Handsome.
I don't know. You can cut all this out.
No, we're included this.
Are you kidding me? This is great.
This is great.
So we moved to the couch. Yeah, Skoy, you gonna close it out for us?
Yeah, well, thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you guys very much for listening. Oh, Jesus.
Breaking reality.
Yeah.
Breaking reality.
Tutor, thank you so much for coming on this podcast. What we usually like to do is we're introducing guests every episode, and sometimes we have a guest with multiple people, and like we have you with another good friend kind of thing.
Okay.
Oh my God.
You're laying your head on his shoulder. Oh, it's so cute.
That's kind of cute.
This is where I belong. This is nice here. Eat your heart out, Liz.
And now all we had left to do is kiss. Is just don't no.
Hold on. No. You gotta give me a second. Hold on.
Oh no.
Quick, Skoy, end it before we're forced to kiss on stream.
Oh, God.
All right. No, boys, get on in there. Nope, you're doing the whole thing.
Oh, good Lord. Oh my god. Oh, Jesus. All right. Well, yeah. All right. So everything's broken right now. But thank you guys so much for watching.
This is how you sit on the couch.
Oh my god. Jesus.
Here we go, boys. Sit on the couch.
This is how you sit on couch.
This is where our bodies would be. All right, here we go.
Yeah, right.
I'm fucking up your whole show, dude. It's great.
Perfect.
But
It's how we always run them. Complete chaos.
But thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you guys very much for listening, and we will catch you all in the next podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.